Guys, welcome back. So in this video we're going to see one of the topic called anonymous class. So in the last video I mentioned to create an object for interface we actually it is not directly possible. So instead technically what we are doing, we are using the anonymous class to create an object, right? So I will explain like what exactly the anonymous class and what we can able to achieve, and how the Java is able to map that object with the anonymous classes. Okay, that I will explain. So trust with me, this anonymous class going to be really helpful, because if you're going for Lambda, which is one of the key feature in Java 8, to understand that obviously we should know this anonymous class, and at least we will know what is actually anonymous class and how Java can able to map this anonymous class internally, and how it's working. So that way it will be easy to understand, and we can also able to correlate that. So along this anonymous class and along with the functional interfaces, actually there is one more topic will come, that is called Lambda. Next video I will cover that. So but this video we will see like what is actually the anonymous class and how it is internally working. Okay, so now so before getting to the anonymous class, so I already show that interface you can able to create an object, right? So let me open that code. Okay, so if you see, this is the code which we have already created um, in the functional interfaces. Let me open this. So no, is this, let me get into the presentation mode. So if you see, when we are creating one functional interfaces or any interfaces, right, we used to create this new keyword and interface name, and we are putting this open braces and we are overriding the method here itself, right? So I mentioned this is going to be like work like an anonymous class internally. So what we are going to do, we are going to do the same thing by simulating that how this anonymous class is creating. So when I'm saying anonymous class, so why this name is coming for this particular scenario? Okay, so let me get out of this presentation mode, and I'll just go to this class. If you see, I already created one of the package called anonymous class and created one class which having the main method. Okay, so what I will do, I'll create one interface. So interface, I'll keep it as maybe I can give as bike only. I'll keep it simple, bike, and it's just normal interface only. And if you see, I'm going to create one method called void fuel type. Okay, this is the one method, it's the abstract method I given in the interface bike. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, so there are multiple ways. Obviously we can implement this particular interface and give the definition for this fuel type, right? This is one way. So last video I just show you uh, we can create a bike. Maybe I can give Honda bike. Okay, Honda bike, I just put bike. So immediately it started to give override here only, and I can provide the overridden definition for this fuel type. So what I will mention as of now, Honda bike petrol. Okay, so this is fine. And if I type Honda bike dot fuel type, so let me run this. So it got executed, and you can see Honda bike will run on the petrol. So till here we are actually seeing the same. Okay, now if you ask me like how it is mapping, because interface we can't able to create an object, but if we are creating an object for any of the classes, what we used to do, we just used to put some new keyword and we used to put the class name with this parenthesis, right? And we will immediately terminate it up. Like for example, let me just put it here. Usually it will be like this if it is a class. Okay, if it is a class, it's going to be like this only. But in this scenario, if it's an interface, but we are not doing the, instead of, we are not doing the same, instead of this we are doing this particular stuff, right? So here if you notice how Java is actually considering as an anonymous class, and how it is actually mapping that particular class with this instance. Okay, I'll show you. So what I will do, let me exit, and let me go to this particular folder. Okay, so this is our package where our Java class is present. Okay, so what I will do, I'll go out, and under this Java 8 folder you can see there is an out, right? So this is nothing but whichever the class we are running through IDE, so it will automatically generate the class file, which is nothing going to be contain the byte code of the particular class which we are running. Okay, so now if I run this, sorry, now if I run this class, okay, so it will generate one class file, dot class file with the bytecode information. Okay, so now let me go here. You can see under anonymous package, you can see there are three things. Okay, one is three classes. One is bike dot class, and another one is anonymous class dot class, and anonymous class one dot class, right? So we need to understand like what exactly this contains. If you open this class directly, you won't understand what exactly this value is, because it's contained a class, sorry, bytecode. Let me open in some notepad. You will get to know. See, if you open this, you won't understand because this is actually a bytecode. Now I'm simply like stick with online decompiler. You can just go to the site, and what you can do, uh, let me copy this. Just copy this bike class and just putting it here. Okay, so what it will do, it will immediately decompile that particular class and it will show me that the actual source code, okay, from the bytecode. Actually it is decompiling. So if you notice here, I just decompiled this one of the class file, bike.class. So once I decompiled, I can see interface bike and void fuel type, which is nothing but in our code, this is the piece of code which is actually converted into one of the file, class file. Okay, this is fine. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just delete this. I'll just delete this. Let me copy this anonymous class file. Okay, I'm just putting it. You can see immediately we can see anonymous class, which is nothing but, if I go here, this is the anonymous class, and we have main method, same main method is here. And if I go inside, if you notice one particular stuff, bike, Honda bike is fine, same, but instead of this new bike and open braces, immediately you can see new of one and Honda bike dot fuel type. So immediately coming here where this piece of code went actually, right? So if you notice, this piece of code itself is not there. Okay, it is actually mapping to one. So where this one is coming from? So are we creating any one or something? No, in our code we don't have any numeric value called one, right? We don't have anything, but still how Java is generating this one and how it is mapping it. So here is the thing. Okay, here is the anonymous class will come into picture. Okay, so what I will do, maybe I can just duplicate it. Let me delete this. Let me re-upload the another one. It's an extra class, anonymous class, $of1 dot class. I'm just putting it here. So this is the anonymous class. Okay, here is the part. If you see here, there is one final class which is created, final class, class 1, and it implements the bike interface. Okay, then it provides the implementation like system.out.println, Honda bike will run on petrol. If you notice here, whatever the definition, what we are overriding and we are giving inside the main method, right? It is coming like this, right? If I go here, code, let me put it at side by side. If you see this particular piece of code, and if you see this particular piece of code, we are just putting new bike and we are opening these braces and we are overriding the method, right? But here, if you see, while compiling this particular class, okay, I mean anonymous class file which we have created, this particular class file. So Java, what it is doing, okay, you declared as a new bike of parenthesis and you are declaring that open brace and close brace. Immediately it identify, okay, I'm going to generate one anonymous class to map this particular instance. Okay, now if you see here, one class is created automatically and the class name is anonymous class $of1. Okay, then implements bike. Whatever the interface we gave, this bike interface is automatically implemented. Whatever the code which we used to usually write it, same it is doing, and whatever the implementation we gave, same simply it is putting inside. Okay, now you might think like here also there is no one, right? So it is like a $1. Then how come and where it is coming like this one, new of one? So let me maximize this and I'll maximize this, and you can see where this new of one is coming. So the thing is how this one is mapping in Java. So Java will tag the numeric value. Okay, so it will be like increment. For example, we have only one instance, so what is happening, it is tagging with 1. Okay, so now what will happen, wherever this new of bike interface name we are using, like the anonymous class type, right, what we are using, if I go here, I'm talking about this particular piece, wherever I'm using this kind of stuff. Okay, so what Java is doing, Java is creating one new class with the $of1, and provide the implementation whatever we declare inside, and it is referring like new of 1, and same rest everything is same. So the thing is like it will be always 1 or it will be like change. As I mentioned, it's going to be increment. Okay, for example, I'll give you one more demo. So same, I'll just copy this and put it down. Instead of Honda bike, I will put Hero bike. Okay, here also I will put Hero bike. Okay, Hero bike will run on electric. Just give an example. Okay, so here also Hero bike. So nothing. So same. I just create new instance and I just give my own different definitions, and I'm just calling that particular method. Simple, right? Let me run this. So you can see Honda bike can run on petrol, Hero bike will run on electric. Okay, so both are same only. There won't be any difference. Okay, so now let me go to this folder, whatever the folder we have already referring, right? Uh, let me open this. You can see previously only one anonymous class, right? Now two anonymous classes there. Okay, so these two are same actually. These two class file, whatever you're seeing here, it's completely same. There won't be any difference. So what I will do, simply I will go here. I'll delete this. So I'm going to choose the again one more file. So this time I'll put second file. Okay, so now second file is ready. Now what I will do, I'll go here. I'll delete this. Okay, so now I'll put the first file. Okay, so now two files I put, one is first one and one is second one. Then I will put the third file. Okay, here I'll delete this. So now I put the main file. Okay, so now side by side we will compare. In the first file which we put, like this is nothing but this particular file. Okay, anonymous class file. And if I go to here, right, you can see this piece of code, okay, which is completely converted into this one, final class anonymous class one $1, and it implements the bike interface, and it gave the implementation which we already declared inside that braces. Okay, so if I go to the second one, same anonymous class $2, again same implementation. But if you see the inside content, right, which is nothing but if you go to the code which we are declared, this is a statement actually it is showing here. Okay, and if I go to the main class, okay, now you can see previously we see only the Honda bike new of 1. Now you can see by Hero bike new 2. So now you can able to see how many times you are creating this particular stuff. Okay, this kind of code, like you are using this braces new keyword and you are using the braces, then it will always tag with the number 1 2 3 like that. It will automatically increment. So whenever you are running this code, Java compiler will automatically compile this code and it will convert this particular code into the code which I am showing here. Okay, this is how it's going to be converted. Okay, even though we are not implementing the bike, but there is a way to create instance, similar kind of instance, and we can able to give our own implementation. That's what we are giving. But even though we are giving like this, Java has to implement that particular bike, and it has to identify, okay, this bike is already implemented, this is where it is declared. Like that only Java can able to understand. That's how internally while compiling this particular class, it is converting as a different set of classes, and it is actually, I mean, basically it's a bytecode, right? It is converting like that only to identify, and it is mapping also 1 2 like that. It is actually this instance going to be 1 and this instance going to be 2, like that only it is actually mapping. Okay, so that's why whatever you are seeing here, the 1 2 and all new keyword of 1 2, which is nothing but whatever the tag, okay, $2 or $1, whatever the number it is assigning to the class name, anonymous class name, that number only it is mapping. Okay, if you create one more instance, it's going to be new one. Okay, so now the one more question will come into picture, like this will only work with interface or it will work with normal class also. So the thing is, it will work with the normal class also. There is no restriction, like it will always work with only interface. So why I'm bringing this interface, because interface and this anonymous class going to be really important when it comes to the lambda. Okay, when we are seeing next video as a lambda, that time we can able to combine both and we will understand, okay, this is how lambda is derived and this is how lambda going to work. Okay, now the thing is, as I mentioned, so it will work with the class also. Maybe I can create one more class like employee, and I'll create one method like public. I'll put void we get role. I will give, okay, simple. I'll put get role. So I'll put like current role is admin. Okay, so this is the current role. Now I created one class, just one method I have declared, and I just gave my own implementation, right? I mean definition for this, just a print statement, right? Now instead of if I want to give my own definition, okay, I was feeling like no, I want to create one more employee, but the employee role is not going to be admin; it's going to be just a developer. Okay, in that case, what I have option, I have created one more class to override the existing employee class, and I can what I can do, like I can give my own implementation, right? But some scenarios like why I need to override the classes again and again. So in this scenario, the problem will be get solved by using this anonymous class. Let me go here. If you see, simple, I'll just type employee. I'm not going to implement, so I'm not going to extend this particular class. Instead, I'm just same class, I'm not going to extend, simply I'm going to create a new instance. Okay, what I will do, employee, and here equal to new. So usually this is how we used to create an object. Okay, now what will happen if I put dot employee, okay, employee dot get role. So I'll get an output. There won't be any issue. Okay, here there is no anonymous class. Nothing is coming to picture. This particular piece of code, it is working fine. But now I want to override this get role method. I want to give my own definition. Okay, in this scenario, obviously you have to extend this class and you have to provide the override. So what we are going to do? We are not going to extend this class with any other classes. Simply I'm going to uh, do it one thing, like same what we did for anonymous, sorry, what we did for the interface, same I'm going to do it for the classes also. Here I'm not getting any error, right? So why I'm not getting any error? Because it's not an interface. If you have any abstract method, obviously you have to provide this implementation. That's why compiler will automatically throw, okay, there is an issue, please try to override. But here the definition already there. We need to like override actually it's not mandatory actually. Okay, but here our scenario is like we need to override. So what I'm going to do, maybe I can just generate, I'll just override the methods. It is asking get role, I'm just giving it. Okay, so I don't want this super implementation, I'll give my own implementation. I'll give current role is developer. So here also I'll change it to developer. Okay, so now what I will do, I'll go down, I'll just put it like this, then I'll execute it. Let me run it. So now you see current role is developer, which means it's not only bounded to interface, it is actually to, you can use it for classes also. More important thing is with the anonymous class, whenever you are dealing with any outside variables, okay, for example, when I mentioned this is a block, right? But for example, if I create one variable, I'll create a string, maybe I can give developer name equal to, I'll give Vengat. Okay, if I give my name is a Vengat, so this is a developer name. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to concat this name. Okay, simply I'm concating and I'm just running it. Okay, let me run it. So it is working fine. Vengat, the current role is I can give like this, Vengat current role is developer. Okay, so now this is fine, but the catch is, this is kind of one rule or thumb rule or whatever you can assume, like you have to follow this thing. Okay, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so the thing is, now I declared one variable outside of this block. This is like, obviously it's outside of this particular block, right? I'm not declared inside, I'm just declared outside. I'm just accessing this particular variable name inside this block, right? It is working, there won't be any issue. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change this developer name equal to something like John. Okay, once I changed it to John, immediately I'm getting a compilation issue. Okay, if you notice this issue, right, variable developer name is accessed from within inner class, needs to be final or effective final. Note this, actually this particular error. Okay, this error you will obviously get many places when we are learning the lambda expression. In real time also you will get this, because the problem is, what people used to do, they will create one variable and they will try to, it's not only with the string. Okay, any type of variable, you are creating any list or you are creating any array, if you are trying to change or if you are trying to modify that array, okay, before reaching this particular block, okay, so what it is showing, if I hover, this particular variable is actually needs to be final or effectively final. Okay, which means before reaching this block, somehow this value is modifying. You declared some value, okay, to that variable, but you are modifying it immediately modifying it somewhere, okay, before reaching the anonymous this particular block. Okay, now if you see, I created one and I changed it immediately and I try to access, it's not allowing me to change. So what it asked me to do, either you have to put it this particular value as final. Okay, I'm just putting as final. So if I put final, then this is not going to be valid. Okay, so now simply I'm commenting it. So now this is fine, that I'm not getting any error. If I run this, it will work. So it will work as it is, there won't be any issue. And if you see the previous one more error, right? Let me remove this. Let me remove, and I'm just putting it. This final will work. Either we need to declare as a final or else effectively final. What is this effectively final? Which means before reaching this block, okay, you should not change this or you should not modify this variable at all. Okay, if you modify this variable, then it's not going to be effectively final. Okay, I am not declaring this variable as a final. It's going to be normal variable. Later I can reassign. That's not a problem. But here, before reaching this particular block, I'm reassigning it or I'm changing this or modifying something particular this variable. Okay, whatever the value it contains. Okay, now if I change this variable by reassigning or changing the value or whatever, okay, now it's not going to be effective final. Okay, if I comment this, still the code going to be work as it is. So this particular piece, I declared one variable with value of Venkat as a developer name. I didn't change anything till here, which means it's going to be effectively final. Even though I'm not declaring as a final keyword as to this particular variable, it's going to be effectively final, which means it is going to be act like a final variable. Okay, because there won't be any change. In this scenario, you are feel free to use this particular variable inside this block. Okay, this anonymous block what we are writing. So this is one of the important and key feature, because many times when you are trying to create one or access one variable outside this particular block, right, you will get an error because maybe sometimes you modify that variable and you are trying to access, it will throw an error effectively final. So immediately if you put a cursor on the error, right, it will ask you to change the variable into final. So before making it to final, you have to be definitely understand like why we are changing it to final or why it is showing as a effectively final. Okay, so now you gotten some idea about like what is anonymous class and what are the how it is internally working, and you'll get to know like it's not only bounded to interface, it will bounded to class level also. And there is one important and really important actually this particular thing, because stay with me like while learning lambda expression, it's going to be really helpful. Okay, so what kind of restriction it had and how you can able to use this variable inside the anonymous class and anonymous block and all. So thanks for watching the video. I'll see you in the next video. So bye bye.